My dear viewer, we are here for the last 4 principles that contribute to their comprehensive health. As we said, we need to understand health from a whole and comprehensive perspective. And we have said there are 12 principles. There could be more, but 12 major principles that if you observe these principles, it will contribute to your overall health, which actually we have said is God's desire for all human beings. God is not happy to see people sick, to see people suffering, in pain. No, he wants to see people jubilant, happy, and moving around, enjoying life that he has given. Although we will not eliminate disease because of the foreign nature of human body and the environment, we can minimize the contracting of diseases. Even when we do contract diseases, we are able to overcome, to get well more quickly than if we did not observe these principles. My dear viewer, that's why we have belabored to bring to you the 12 principles which, if observed, will bring overall health. And we are saying that the COVID-19 has afforded you a good opportunity to study these principles, apply them, and then see how you come out strong with good health and you enjoy life. So we have spoken of 8 principles, and the 9th one is integrity. Integrity. Now, integrity looks like a simple thing. Integrity here we mean, are you committed to what is defined as true, as honest, as upright? What does society consider to be upright? What does the government consider to be upright, to be good, to be truthful? What does the church define truth? What does the Bible define truth? Because in everything there are principles that govern our whole existence, whether economically, physically, socially, and even intellectually. There are principles which are true things that we must follow. Where integrity is tested, in any sphere of life, there are principles. There are things considered to be norms. If you practice yourself to walk according to the norms as described in the Bible and in society that is informed by the Bible, the positive things, then you are on the way of enjoying more health, of building more resistance to your system. And even handling, you have the capacity to handle disease when and if it comes. So integrity is very, very important. Speaking the truth. You know, sometimes we think we should speak the truth to adults. And I'm talking to parents. There are times when we break integrity rules very, very easily, simply because you want to avoid a child crying or doing this. Because when a child, in the village I even used to see, when a child wants to accompany the mother to the market, the mother will just simply cheat the child and says, oh, there are very many hyenas on the way. They will maul you out, so that they scare the child to go back and remain home. That is only the adults who go to the market. But that's not the truth. It's a breach of integrity. Sometimes we speak lies just to avoid an unpleasant circumstances. Maybe we don't want to speak the truth as it is. We don't want to travel the right path as we know it. And these shortcuts that preach integrity will compromise even our immunity system. How does it do? Because if you tell a lie, then you will be living on fear of being discovered. Then when you live in fear, that's a negative emotion. And it will now compromise your system, and you can easily get a cold or some cough or anything. So integrity, my dear viewer, is very, very important factor of promoting health. Let's be people who speak the truth, whatever it is. Sometimes there are times when we must speak the truth, even if it will disadvantage us. If you are the one who did the wrong thing, accept it. Let's be people who apologize when we have gone wrong. That's integrity. Realize quickly and confess what you have done wrong. That's integrity. And as much as possible, at home, in the society, in the church, and everywhere, speak the truth. Let's live by the commandments of God. You know, there are 10 commandments and a host of others. You know, when you know it's wrong to show disrespect to your parents, don't use any excuse to not over the due respect to the parents, because then integrity will be just knocking at your door and say you have spoiled this integrity. Telling a lie, murder, gossip, and all these are things that compromise integrity. So integrity is very important as a factor that contributes the overall health. My dear viewer, another one is optimism. Optimism is looking at the bright side of things. You know, sometimes the opposite of optimism is pessimism. Pessimism is when you are always looking at the wrong side of things. And my dear viewer, this is a very, very bad and satanic practice. Every time you look at the negative side of things, you compromise your health. When you criticize something, you compromise your health. Because, you know, there are people who wake up in the morning and position themselves strategically at some point and see people passing. Then they will criticize. That person is not walking well. That person is not well dressed. That person did not brush the teeth. That person's shoes, are not matching. This shirt is not matching. You know, when you are looking for mistakes here and there, that is looking at the negative side of things. And my dear viewer, believe me, that negative assessment of things in other people do not affect, that attitude does not affect the people you are criticizing, it affects you. And that's where optimism comes in. And we should always live as people of hope, people who are always hopeful. If you do not get something today, don't have an attitude that I will never get it. Just develop an attitude, a hopeful attitude that if I didn't get it today, I'll get it tomorrow. If I don't get it in this town, I will get it in another town. But when you look at these things from the negative side all the time, and there are people, and it's natural for us who are sinners to always look at the negative things. So optimism works this way. Look at the good in people and in places and in circumstances. You look at all these things. If it begins to rain, you know it will stop. Don't be as if it begins to rain, it will never stop. I read a story of people who are real negative. And this is about an old woman who passed by and found these young people, the Wright brothers, who were making an aeroplane. So she came by and she was going her way. She found the young people very ready, meaning assembling big sheets, and said, "Young people, what are you doing?" He said, "We are making an aeroplane." "What aeroplane?" Then he says, "It will fly people across oceans and long distances." And then the old woman said, "You young people, you are joking. This thing, assembling all these things, even if it is put together, it will never fly." So she went her way. And then the young people were not even disturbed by that. They continued bringing the sheets together, arranging them. And now, when she passed by, the last time, they had assembled everything, they had put everything ready. This time, they were testing it. So she came by on the day of testing and said, "Oh, young people, you are still here?" "Yes." "How much have you done?" Say, "We have done everything. Today is testing day. And these people who have come here have come to witness how this is going to fly." So this lady just also stopped by. Then they got into there, started the engine. There was rattling. There was a lot of noise shaking around. And then, lo and behold, the aeroplane took off. And then it went. And now this lady who said this thing will never fly turned around and said, "It will never stop, it will never stop, it will never stop." You see, this is what we call negativism, looking at the negative side of things. So she went away shouting, "It will never stop, it will never stop." But the fact is, aeroplanes fly, aeroplanes stop. So the negative attitude of this lady never stopped aeroplanes from taking off, never stopped aeroplanes from stopping when time comes. So what I'm saying is, integrity is to look at the positive side of things, the bright side of things. Where there are things, when you go to when you are interacting with the people, don't look at the wrong side. If somebody has washed a dish and has left one spot, small one, which can be seen by straining your eye, why do you make a mountain of that dot? Can't you say, anyway, 99.9% of the plate is clean, rather than just 0.1% where it is dirty? So let's look at the bright side of things. Somebody has said, when you are looking at the glass of water, how do you know whether you are optimistic or pessimistic? When you look at a glass of water, what comes to your mind first? Because if it becomes like this glass is half empty, that is positive. But if it is half full, that's positive. And it's good. But you look at it, it's half empty. That's now negative. So you can even check yourself whether you are a pessimist or an optimist. So integrity, optimism is another key principle that encourages health. Another one is the one we always focus on: nutrition, food, what we eat, the fruits, the grains, the all kinds of food that we put on the table. Nutrition. And my dear viewer, we have always overemphasized the issue of nutrition, which is good. But we need to know it's one of the 12 principles of health. It cannot stand alone. However much we do in this, because I know we have spent more time to be very much what to eat, how to eat it, when to eat it. Do I eat it raw? Do I eat it cooked? Do I fry it? We are so much on one of the principles, but it cannot compensate on these others. We must keep all these 10. Then the 11th one, which is nutrition, will also fit in the whole program of attaining good health. So you remember, my dear viewer, that when God created man, is the one who gave him food. So we must make right choices on food. And how do we know? We have got to follow the Bible. Because when we read Genesis chapter 1 and verse 28, this is what it says. Then God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and govern it, reign over the fish and the sea, of the birds and the sky and all the animals and that crawl along the ground. Verse 29. Then God said, look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given you every green plant as food for all the wild animals and the birds in the sky and the small animals that scurry along. So my dear viewer, you see when man was created, he was given food. And the more we study the original diet, the better. Because along the way, we are brought into nutrition things which do not promote good health. And I want to say here that a plant-based nutrition is what God gave. And I even came to wonder that even the people who are telling you how to eat during the coronavirus so that you create resistance, they are telling you to go back to the plant-based food, a vegetarian diet. Cut on this other animal diet because they compromise the body. They were never given to man to eat. Depending on your circumstances, it is much, much better to go to the original diet. That one, science has proved that animal foods tend more to compromise your health much more than the plant food. And the same research has shown that when your nutrition is more based on plants, a plant-based diet, you are more likely to develop resistance to many, many diseases. So you, my dear viewer, the principles, a few principles. Choose the right foods. And how do you do it? Follow what the Bible says. Be as nearly to the original diet as possible. Yes, we know that sin has spoiled everything, including food, vegetables, roots, and leaves that we are given. But still, God has put vitality, strength in that can build our lives much more than animal food. Then you also see the regularity of eating. Regularity of eating. So number one, variety. Number two, regularity. Because our body know how to handle food one at a time. So don't eat all the time. 3 meals at most are okay, but 2 meals is ideal. Breakfast and some other meal there. Or breakfast, lunch, and supper in a decreasing manner. And then variety. We need to eat grains, fruits, vegetables, and all this that God said. So nutrition should also be a factor in our building of health. Let's not say we don't have time to make meals. Let's have meals, good juices, natural ones, vegetables, fruits, and roots, and let's eat and make there. And the 12th principle, my dear viewer, is social support. social support. This one, you know, when the Bible, when man was created, the Bible has this record. Genesis 2, verse 18. It said that, verse 18 says, "Then the Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone." No, it's God's program that man is a social being. Man is created to be among other beings, other human beings. That is why social support is very important. That's why family is very important. And we should not relegate family in any way. That is why society is very important. That's why relationships in the family, in the society, in the church is very important. Why? Because when you are sick and you are in hospital and people come to see you, you know, that's how social support. Somebody sends a text, pole, you know, heal quickly. You know, that's social support, and it gives you the strength to even fight the disease much faster. Somebody comes and says, "Oh, I heard you are sick. I have come to see you. I have come to pray for you." Your pastor comes, your church elder comes, your religious leader comes, your friends comes, your relatives, your friends, and others. Somebody says, "Oh, this is my friend. I told him I was coming to see you and said, can we go and see?" We are talking of social support. So as you plan, you choose to make social support strong in your life program. Make sure that you keep the relationships intact. If it's a funeral, go to the funeral and give others social support. And everyone needs social support, but more especially the vulnerable. The vulnerable here, I mean the elderly. You know, their parents who are now doing their 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100. You know, everybody, you know, these parents had 8 children, they are all gone. They have also formed their families, but they don't come to visit them. You know, that's not social support. Social support is these parents who are in the 80s and they are in good health, become very well when you go and visit. Daddy, we have come to visit you. Mom, we have come to visit you. Here are your grandchildren. Here are your great-grandchildren. You know, it rejuvenates someone. So social support is another principle. So what can we say? My dear viewer, we have said for you to have a comprehensive health, we have said we have 12 principles. These are researched. These are the ones given in the Bible, and they have been put in a very good book. Some experts have written this, and they have called them celebrations. There are 12 principles which are put down into an acronym which spells celebrations. So the intention is you need to celebrate your health. You need to be intentional and have that health having there. So what have we said? We have said there are 12 principles. When balanced well, when observed well, then they will create the overall health. What are they? C, in the word celebration, stands for choices. The first E, because there are 2 E's there, stands for exercise. The L stands for liquids. Another E stands for environment. B stands for belief. R stands for rest. A stands for air. And T stands for temperance. I stands for integrity. O stands for optimism. N stands for nutrition. And S stands for social support. My dear viewer, try these principles. God has said When you try them, you will enjoy health. And as the Bible says, that Jesus Christ, so that you can enjoy abundant health. It is yours, it's your joy, enjoy health.